So what we worked on this week was He's the Wizard from The Wiz. The highlights for me this past week, I think the first would be getting to know the kids. They were small but mighty, meaning each one of them just brought so much energy and life and excitement about theater and music to the table. It was easy to get them motivated, and they were just so fun. We found a nice mix of games and education. So we blended those two, and they made some progress, and they learned new things, but at the same time we had a lot of fun. I think the biggest thing, though, for me as an educator, of course, is that I get to see them grow. I get to see the light turn on. I get to see them connect the dots by the things that I tell them, and then suddenly see them go from nervous and afraid and worried about barely singing out to standing there confidently and really singing and knowing what they're saying and connecting to what they're saying. And for me, I feel like they came 100 miles, in their progress from the first time I saw them to today.
The second week, we largely introduced the music to the kids, and so they got to go run through all of the songs in the show, which was really exciting.
Ready? Sing. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
We started a little bit on the dialogue, so they got to familiarize themselves with the story.
Wake up, the wicked witch is dead.
I think for me, my favorite part of this second week is that you start to get to know the kids even a little bit more intimately. I love getting to know their little personalities, and by that time we had their parts assigned, and so now knowing who's playing Dorothy, who's the Tin Man, and so on, is really fun to see them start taking ownership of those characters and starting to figure out how they were going to portray them, and watching them start to bring them to life was really fun for me.
Throughout the camp, we've had workshops for the kids each week, especially week 1 through 3. One of my favorites was we did a public speaking one, which ran every Friday for the first 3 weeks of camp. And we had Daniel Glenn come in, and him and his team really worked with the kids on just the art of public speaking, how to handle yourself in an interview, how to handle yourself if a reporter's asking you questions, how to speak to an adult clearly, and how to carry yourself with confidence. So week 3 was a ton of fun. We all got to meet Brian, he's just been so awesome to work with. He is full of personality, and he really did push the kids.
We began by reading through the script. We had our cast, and we really just worked on some basic acting technique and rehearsal technique, so the kids would know what to expect when we're rehearsing the show. I think the biggest gift I could give the kids is probably permission to be silly, so it frees them up so they can really use their bodies and their instrument and imagination. Anytime I see one of the shy kids all of a sudden come out with an amazing voice, an amazing character, or just expand something I never thought they could do. Well, you hope they could do, and you've helped them get there. I think some of the things that they've learned would be how to rehearse. What it really means to rehearse a show for 7 hours a day and try to put it up. I think that the people who have had the biggest challenges is the girl playing Dorothy, Olivia. It's a big part, just the sheer size of it, and she's handled it beautifully. And then one of our other girls, Kayla, who's playing the Wicked Witch. There's a lot of expectations from the movie, and I think that she's creating a very unique witch. She's going to look amazing, and she's having so much fun. When we set out to put together the Broadway camp, the important things that I said were, one, they have a chance to audition and learn how to audition, and that they also have chances to perform. So they always had a goal at the end of the week. They were going to be performing for family and friends or the community. I think it's really just the idea that these kids are developing actual characters. It's not just putting on a play, because some of them have been in small parts maybe in their schools, but as a group we're kind of making this together, and I can see them start to click in. They're now asking me, could we please run the whole show? So when they're there, I've succeeded.
The purpose of the Broadway camp was to give kids in our area a chance to do something unique and different for their summer. It was a 4-week immersive. They were able to do all sorts of things in the different drama arena. We wanted to give the kids an opportunity to see what it means to put a production together. We brought in Broadway professionals so that the kids could get a true experience. Allegro is all about processes. How do we do things? How do we train? And so it was important for us not to just do a production, but to actually teach them the process. So how do you audition? How do you move on stage? And that's what Brian and Penny were able to do with their experience as Broadway professionals, to come in and actually teach the kids what that means to be in a Broadway production. Allegro is a nonprofit community arts school, and with the Broadway production we're able to add more programs and more arts into the school. Watching the kids come in and knowing the kids and then seeing where they were at the end was just, for us, that was the win. Watching them develop as people and as little creative beings.